So recently I was invited out to LA to test Star Wars Jedi Survivor at an exclusive early access event. In this video, I will be giving you guys my impressions of almost everything you need to know about the Jedi Survivor gameplay that we got our hands-on experience with. Before jumping into it, a massive shout out to the EA Creator Network and Respawn for allowing me to take part in this event. It really was the trip of a lifetime, and I feel so blessed to have been able to take part in it. And I will keep updating you guys more and more about the trip as we go, including a vlog of Disneyland, Galaxy's Edge, and Universal, and all of the other stuff that we got to do on the trip, and pretty much everything that I'm allowed to show you. So I hope you guys are ready for all of that coming in the next week or two. Now, I have a ton of Survivor content on the way as well, so make sure you guys are subscribed with notifications on. And with that said, let's get into the single most important piece of information that I learned about Jedi Survivor this weekend. What is it, you might ask? Well, it's pretty simple. The best piece of information that I found out about Jedi Survivor this weekend is that you can give Cal a mullet. Yes, that's right. Customization in this game is going to a whole new level with options to customize Cal's hair, facial hair, jacket, shirt, and pants, as well as being able to customize the look and color of BD1 and both ends of Cal's lightsaber. It has a ton of options, and it looks as though this is going to be all over the customization on Jedi Fallen Order. There are so many more things that you can do than the previous game, which can be attained from both crates around the map like Fallen Order had, and some can actually be purchased from vendors throughout the universe as well. So if you're into customization and cosmetics, you will be absolutely blown away with the amount of options that you have in Jedi Survivor. Next up is probably the most important thing that you guys all want to know about, and that is the combat. How does the combat feel? What are the stances like? Well, as far as our playtest session went, we got our hands on 3 styles of combat, which was the single blade, the double blade, and the dual wield, which has been confirmed to be the 3 that you will start off with. Single blade, as you can imagine, felt very similar to the first game. However, I was extremely surprised to find that the double blade stance had changed so much from Fallen Order, with a ton of brand new moves, combos available on offer, and abilities. And in my opinion, it's probably the most flashy out of the 3 combat stances we got to use. We did also get to use dual sabers throughout the session, and the animations look incredible. They're really fun to use. This stance was a lot of fun as well, but I found myself constantly wanting to go back to that double-bladed stance. The amount of combinations that you could use, the abilities that you could tie in with it, there were just some things that you could do that looked so cool. And that's not even just the only way I can describe it. Is it looked incredible. Like, you could do things that I never would have imagined with a double-bladed lightsaber, and the way you can tie some of the abilities in together just blew me away. So shout out to the Respawn team working on that. You guys did an incredible job with it. Continuing on with the combat, at the end of the session, we did also get a demonstration from one of the developers using the Crossguard Stance and the Blaster Stance as well, which both looked like a lot of fun. Crossguard has a really heavy broadsword style of movement, which will be great against the bigger and slower enemies. And from what we were shown of the Blaster Stance, you will all be blown away when you see it. No pun intended. The Blaster Stance combines the use of Cal's lightsaber, blaster, and the Force to pretty much immobilize any enemies and eliminate multiple of them at a time, giving them no chance to defend themselves at all. We were shown one of the abilities where Cal lifts up like 5 to 6 enemies at once and bounces a blaster bolt through each of them before they even hit the ground. So it really was exciting to watch that gameplay and get a first look at what the blaster is going to be able to do. And I really can't wait to see what other combos you can use with it and what the skill tree for that looks like. One other thing we did also get introduced to as well was an ability for Cal called Confuse. Now, this is essentially a Jedi mind trick to allow you to sway an enemy to fight for you rather than against you. So it can be really useful when trying to take out a large group of enemies. You can convince a creature to take out stormtroopers like you'll see in the gameplay, or you can convince a stormtrooper to turn on their own. It really just depends on how you feel and what you want to do with that. It really does give you a lot of freedom as to what you control and work with you on that. As for the location, during the playtest, we spent most of our time on the planet Kobo. Now, we've already been introduced to this through the IGN gameplay that we've seen, but it was really incredible to see it for my own eyes. When I say this map is massive, it really is massive. We played for 4 hours and I still didn't get to see everything on this planet. There was the main mission area, but any direction you turn, there was something else you could do, from puzzle rooms to time trials to finding secret lairs that held boss enemies to get different rewards, or stumbling across AI that might need help with side missions. One side mission during the playtest allowed us to head down into a Rancor pit and face off against one of the fabled beasts ourselves. This fight was probably one of the coolest parts of the demo, and even playing on Jedi Knight difficulty, if the Rancor grabs you, it will eat you and your health will drop to 0. So during the Rancor fight, I did discover an Easter egg with a little bit of help from one of the developers, which, much like when Luke faced the Rancor in the original trilogy, you can pick up a large bone from in the pit and throw it at the Rancor, which sticks in between its mouth and immobilizes it for a few seconds. So timing when to use this is really helpful, and the fact that it's even in there, it really just shows that this is Star Wars fans making games for other Star Wars fans at this point, which you really love to see. As far as other enemies on this planet, we went up against B1 and B2 battle droids, BX commando droids, a host of aliens and creatures, the new Wampa looking creature, and also some of the Bedlam Raiders, which is a new enemy force in Jedi Survivor. We did even get a brief visit from the Empire with a couple of stormtroopers dropping by as well, and a look at even a new trooper which had some sort of like riot shield, which was really cool to see, and there's a really cool way to immobilize them, which you'll probably see in the gameplay as well. Another new feature in Jedi Survivor is that rideable mounts are now in the game, not only to help you move around the map quicker, but we also found out that these creatures will help you traverse the map into locations that you wouldn't otherwise be able to reach. So mounts actually play more of an important role than originally thought to. Certain items may be out of reach, or the pathway to your next objective might be hindered unless you can tame the right mount for that part of the journey so that they can jump you into a position that you need to get to or fly you where you need to go. And I really think that's a cool part of this game. Now, obviously, I'm not able to talk about everything that I saw at the event. There are still some surprises to come, but as far as the story goes, we did crash land on Kobo as the Mantis gets damaged and we need to find parts to repair it. During our time on Kobo, we do run into an old friend who is there to help us repair the ship, but past that point, I can't really discuss too much of the story with you yet, so you guys will just have to stay tuned to the channel to find out more information. Anyways, guys, that is everything I wanted to cover in this Jedi Survivor update. But before you get upset, I do have a ton more videos coming this week and next week leading into the launch of the game. So if you don't want to miss anything, I am urging you to make sure you have notifications turned on by hitting the bell button down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this little sneak peek of Jedi Survivor. And if you did, drop a like for me and I will see you guys tomorrow with another video. Thank you so much for tuning in again, and I will see you next time. May the Force be with you always.